Gareth Davis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a great pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and let me congratulate again the honourable member and actually everybody for being here, because I welcome any debate to talk about moving our economy forward and helping the most vulnerable in society. But I'm afraid it may come as a complete shock, I'm not sure, but I disagree with this particular proposal, and I would just want to set out very briefly 4 reasons why, if I may, in good humour and constructively. The first point, Madam Chair, is the fact that there is a great deal of uncertainty as to how much this would cost taxpayers and the British Exchequer. Universal means everybody. So that means in our country, over 65 million people will receive some form of income under universal basic income as a policy. And if this was set at a level to provide just a basic income, even a modest income, that would result in literally hundreds of billions of pounds of extra money being spent by the taxpayer. That means that we have to find that money either from other departments or to raise new money through higher taxes. And that is a perfectly noble argument to make, but it is a fact of running a budget that you either have to take the money from somewhere else or you have to raise the money. And I'm not sure what the argument of the Welsh Government or the Liberal Democrats is, but I'm happy to hear it.
Thank you very much. Thank the honourable member for giving way. And I would also like to apologise for being a little late. I was caught unawares by the broken lifts in PCH.
Another one.
Would the honourable member accept, though, that universal basic income at the moment is still a concept, an idea, and that those of us who already earn much more than what a universal basic income might offer should perhaps not be looking for any payment at all, but should accept that we already have that income, and that therefore to calculate giving it to everybody might be in line with the actual wording, but not the spirit of what a universal basic income would be?
Well, look, it's beyond the bounds of my intellect to be able to argue today and debate today what universal means. I take universal to mean everybody and being universally accepted and universally received by everyone. And I think it would be up to perhaps people to give it back, but as we've seen in recent policies, that's not always happened. Of course, I'll give way to the honourable member from Wales.
I'm very grateful. I don't want to be argumentative, but of course the Chancellor has agreed to give us all, everyone here, the princely sum of £400.
Yes.
So the principle is accepted on his side of the House, though I agree that there might be rather larger sums involved. However, there's one other point I'd like to make. That would be the gross cost. But in terms of well-being and of better health and happiness and everything else that comes along with having a proper income, there might be netted off a considerable amount of money.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the intervention. Look, somebody else, you've made, I think my honourable friend here who brought the debate today, made the point that the Conservatives have just recently, in fact, implemented a universal policy. She'll be aware, and so will the honourable gentleman, that in times of crisis, whether it's a pandemic, first pandemic in over 100 years, or a national crisis when it comes to energy prices, you would expect the government to protect as many people as possible, but act at pace and in exceptional circumstances. So I accept the point, but that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is a complete root and branch reform of our welfare system that is permanent, as I understand it. I'm going to make some progress, if that's all right, because I'm sure you'll disagree with other points that I make along the way. But that was my first point is cost. The second is the fact that I believe that this will potentially exacerbate, not alleviate, inequality. And the reason I say that is because under a universal system, everybody will receive it. Millionaires will receive a cheque through the post. Even an RMT driver on £70,000 a year will receive a cheque under this system. But I do accept one point, and I would like the Minister to address this in his remarks. There is a point here about simplification of our benefit system, and I do take that point after dealing with hundreds of cases in my own constituency that a lot of the time people are not aware of all the many benefits that are available to them as vulnerable members of society, and any effort the Minister can make to help inform and simplify our benefit system, I would absolutely endorse that. But as I said, because it will exacerbate inequality and give billionaires and millionaires a cheque through the post that they don't need, I can't accept this policy suggestion. Of course I will.
Thank you very much for giving way. If you listen to what I said that this has to be part of a transformative agenda more generally. And a wealth tax, I was here speaking yesterday in a debate on wealth tax, would raise, according to the Wealth Tax Foundation, Commission, sorry, £260 billion. Would you agree that that is a good way of raising funding?
It will shock her even further to hear that I don't agree. And the reason I don't, and we're getting off a little bit off course right now, as relates to a wealth tax, we do have a lot of people who invest in our country. We have a lot of people who start from nothing and go on to achieve great things. And I don't want to dissuade, I don't want to hamper their ambition to have a better life, to set up a business, to employ lots of people. And I believe that a wealth tax would not only put off people from investing and coming to this country, it would actually dissuade people like my dad, for example, who's not a particularly rich man, but he did set up a business because he wanted to do better for himself and his family, and as a result ended up employing a lot of people. But you know, that is not the way forward, in my view. Economic growth and the dignity of work is the way to go, and to incentivise that. And that's my third point. The dignity of work and the security of a regular paycheck has been proven and shown time and time again to be the best way out of poverty for people. People in work, though, don't just get an income. They get so much more. They get friends. Sometimes they meet their wives. They get meaning in life and a purpose. The dignity of work gives people things to get up for in the morning. The work environment and the people that we work with add so much to our lives. But jobs, I will in a minute, but jobs also give us skills that develop over time. And if we introduce a universal basic income, I'm afraid I disagree with my friends from the SNP, that it will actually dissuade people from going to work. It won't encourage work. In the way that they've said. Of course I will, yes.
There's absolutely no evidence from any pilot programme run anywhere in the world that says that people are indolent and they don't want to work. In fact, the current welfare system punishes people for going back to work. And the basic income, I'm not taking your basic income away if you go get some part-time work, if you go back to university, if you take on studies. So it actually encourages people to have the confidence to go back into work.
He makes a reasonable point. About evidence, but I would also point to him the fact that there is no evidence for universal basic income working anywhere in the world. The Honourable Lady, I know I can preempt it, The Honourable Lady rattled off a number of examples, and I will hurry up my speech because I'm getting asked to move on, but I have taken a number of interventions, hopefully that's acknowledged. There have been a number of studies and pilots, not least in Wales, that's going on at the moment, but not one has been executed on, not one example around the world can we point to where this has been implemented. And the reason is, while it may show some benefits on mental health, well, it may show some benefits on well-being and other points, it has not shown any government around the world that this is the right model for alleviating poverty and moving forward. And I'm afraid I'm going to end my speech here by saying thank you to you, Madam Chair, and thanks to everybody for listening. I feel a little alone on these sides, but I'm pretty sure the British people are with me. Thank you.